All right. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles are 4-0. It was not pretty at all. I did not like how the game went. I did not like the coaching. But anyways, with that being said, let's talk about this Week 4 matchup and victory against the Washington Commanders. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Philly Willy Podcast. And in today's episode, we're going to go over the Week 4 matchup against the Commanders. Before I get into the video, if you guys like the content that I'm putting out, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you guys want to talk back and forth about the Philadelphia Eagles or football in general, make sure you guys are leaving comments down in the comment section below. But anyways, let's get into it. So the first thing that I want to talk about in this video is the coaching needs to be better on both sides of the ball. I thought offense was all right, but I just didn't like some of the play calls that were being called in certain situations. As, for example, I will talk about later in the video, I did not like how whenever it was our possession and overtime, and our first 3 plays in overtime were pass plays, you got to give Swift the ball on at least first and second down before you pass in overtime. Like, see what you can get on the ground game. And then I'm pretty sure they called was that a read option right after that? I could be wrong, and I'm thinking of something else, but I just didn't like the play calling there, and there were some other spots that I didn't like the offensive play calling, and the defensive play calling was terrible. You let Sam Howell put up 290 yards. He was 29 for 41 and a touchdown. Yeah, we sacked him 5 times, but he went down the field on that last drive to take it to overtime like he was Tom Brady. This defense was making Sam Howell look like he was Tom Brady, and I didn't like it. I didn't like how the defensive backs were playing so far off the wide receivers in situations where they just needed mid-yardage and they were able to just get the ball out real quick to those wide receivers. Like, teams have been doing this to the Philadelphia Eagles for the past 4 weeks. Like, people need to, like, Sean Desai has to pick up on this. Like, you have to have the corners up. Every time that the corners are up, the defense either gets a sack, the quarterback throws an incompletion or an interception, or just gets rid of the ball. Like, these linemen are getting in the faces of these quarterbacks whenever these defensive backs are playing up on these wide receivers. You can't have them off the ball in every single situation. I understand some situations, but not every single time can you have these defensive backs up off the ball 6, 7, 8 yards away from these wide receivers whenever it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 4. Like, they got to be up in their face, causing pressure on these wide receivers so that this defensive line can get there. This defensive line can get there, but they can't get there in 1 second when the quarterback is taking a drop back and just dumping the ball off. It's just not going to happen. I did not like the play calling. I didn't really have that much of a problem with the defensive play calling until this week. Like, it kind of just really showed this week, and I don't know. I didn't like it. It caused a lot of, like, anxiety whenever the Eagles were out on the field on defense. It was just like the Washington Commanders were just driving up and down the field. And then after halftime, it seemed like they made an adjustment. They were down 17-10. We came out of halftime, and then we eventually scored, and we got to 17-17, and then we scored again, and the score was 24-17. And then it was like we took our foot off the gas, and then everything just started to fall apart from there. Yeah, we had that ending score to on our last possession, but I think the main goal of that drive, I understand we got the touchdown whenever we came out with the victory, but the main goal of that drive should have been to get a first down, take some more of that clock out, and let Jake Elliott kick the game-winning field goal in the 4th quarter instead of having Jake Elliott, the MVP of the season so far, and nothing's going to change my mind about that, instead of having him come out and have to kick the game-winning field goal in overtime. It should have been in the 4th quarter. The Eagles should have ran out the clock. I understand they wanted to get the touchdown. Things happen, and then we walked out at the end of the day, we walked out with a victory. There's nothing much more that I can complain about victory-wise, but I wish they kind of would have done it a little bit different. Let's talk about a little bit of the offensive side of the ball now, since I talked a little bit about the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, the first 3 plays in overtime were all pass plays. You can't do that, man. You got to come out at least on first down and just see what the defense is giving you by giving a handoff to Swift or something, or at least do a read option on the first down instead of just going out and passing the ball. Like, I just thought that whenever they got the ball back, we got so lucky that our defense stepped up and we got the ball back in overtime, or we got the ball in overtime, and then for them to come out and run 3 pass plays, just boom, 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 right in a row, I don't know. I just didn't like that. I think that they should have ran a design run for Swift or a read option just to get some yards and get the offense going just a little bit and try to establish a rhythm instead of just going 3 straight pass plays in a row. And also, I know I said that we should have done like a read option on one of those first 3 plays of our overtime possession, but I think we need to call it on the read option. Teams are picking up on it. It's like every single time that we run the read option, Jalen Hurts is either getting tackled right at the line of scrimmage or he's getting a yard or two. It's like, it does not look, that read option does not look like how it looked last year. And I don't think it's anything on Hurts' side of the play. I think it's just defenses are just preparing so much because Jalen Hurts was so dominant in the read option. So they're just figuring out how to stop it. And I think that the Eagles need to take a little bit of a break from that and figure out some other ways to gain those trickery yards or confusion yards on these defenses, and then maybe go back towards the end of the season once they establish something else so they can give different looks to teams in certain situations instead of always just having Hurts do that read option. It just always seems like the read option comes on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and I just don't like that call. Like, if you're going to call pass plays, that's the play to call a pass play is on 3rd and 4, not whenever it's 3rd and 4 and you're in overtime or the 4th quarter and you call a read option. That is time for a pass play. I'm having a little, like, this game, I didn't really have that much of a problem with the coaching. Like, I thought it was just give them a chance, but man, we're 4 games into the season. The coaching's got to be better. This play calling's got to be better. And I know I can't really say anything because I'm not in the NFL. I'm not an NFL coach. I'm not a player. I'm just a fan watching and talking about the game. But as a fan, this is what we want to see. We want to see this offense and defense coach better. We have so many stars on both sides of the ball, and we're 4-0, but it still doesn't feel like we played all the way to the highest level that we can play at because of this coaching. It's either the coaching or the players are doing something stupid. Like, it just feels like we haven't gotten there yet, and I just really hope that everything gets turned around, and I believe that it will. This is not me saying that I don't believe that the Eagles are going to – they're 4-0. There's nothing to turn around. They just got to fix these stupid mistakes and all these dumb play calls and just do the right things. I don't know. This game just made my head hurt a little bit towards the end there because I'm just like, man, we could have got out of here with a victory, and it was just – I don't know. We were shooting ourselves in the foot, and that's the one way that I said that we were going to lose this game is if we shot ourselves in the foot, and that's what we started to do. And it was this divisional rivalry between the Eagles and the Commanders. It's a good one. You know, last year the Commanders came in and they defeated us whenever we were undefeated. So, you know, I kind of could have seen a little bit of a struggle game between the Eagles and the Commanders for the Eagles. But also at the same time, I just thought that the Eagles were really, really going to put it together. I thought the coaches were going to call a good game. And I thought the Eagles were going to come out and win 34, 31-17, somewhere around there. But the end score ended up being 34-31. You let the Commanders put 31 points up on your team. That was not good. That was not good. That defense is way, way too good. You have too many people on that defensive side of the ball to have teams put up 31 points. You have Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat. That's literally an all-star defensive line. And then you have Zach Cunningham, who's playing solid. You had Nicholas Moreau, who had 3 sacks. We'll get into that later, a little bit later here. You have Darius Slay. You have James Bradbury. And I know Avonte Maddox is out, and you have Josh Jobe, who struggled a little bit. And then you had Reed Blankenship in, and you had Terrell Edmonds. Edmonds didn't really play that great. But that defense just has so many big-name players, and I think it's just being wasted on coaching these past couple years, and it really, really sucks. And I just hope that they turn it around. But anyways, I know I'm talking about defense again. I want to keep on talking about offense. Also, I know that I'm saying all this stuff about the team and how we were shooting ourselves in the foot, but honestly, I think all the players played pretty decent, all in all. Jalen Hurts, he literally had the same exact stats that I predicted for him. I predicted that he would have 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts had 319 yards and 2 touchdowns. I was 1 yard off, so I'll take the credit for that. I called that 320 yards. Deandre Swift, he had a little bit of a setback game, 14 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown. But, you know, still a solid game from him. Sorry about that. My microphone was being a little bit weird. But Deandre Swift, you know, you can't expect him to go for 130, 150, 160 yards every single game. So I'll take that from him. Jalen Hurts had 34 yards on the ground. Kenneth Gainwell had 14 yards on the ground with 4 carries. He also had that fumble. I did not like that fumble. I think Deandre Swift needs to be in there a lot more. And we didn't see any of Boston Scott. I wonder why. Maybe they were just being precautious with that concussion and not trying to get him back in there. So we'll see what happens in week 5 and see what goes on there. A.J. Brown had a monster game. Everybody, last week, I said everybody could shut their mouth about A.J. Brown being a diva and him and Hurts not having this connection. And guess what? He had 9 catches, 175 yards. Y'all could shut your mouth. Everything is perfectly fine between A.J. Brown and A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith, 7 catches, 78 yards. Dallas Goedert, 2 catches, 25 yards. DeAndre Swift through the air, 4 receptions, 23 yards. Olamide Zacchaeus, 1 reception, 11 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, 2 receptions for 7 yards. All in all, I think that this offense played pretty well. Besides the play call, I think it was just the play call that's holding this offense back, and it was definitely the play call that was holding this defense back. You can't have the Commanders put up 31 points on your defense, and the offense put up 34 points, so there's nothing that we can complain about with the offense, really, other than the stupid read option calls and the stuff that I'm nitpicking about. But before I go, I just want to talk about players of the game real quick. I don't want to make this too long of a video. My first player of the game and my MVP so far this season is Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott has been so clutch. He won this game for us. He's been making all these long field goals. And I just want to say, Jake Elliott, in my book, is the greatest Philadelphia Eagles kicker of all time. I know that I haven't been around to see like all the past kickers. Like I was there for a little bit of like David Akers, like end of his career there. I was just pretty young for that. But Jake Elliott, to me, he's an Eagle great. He's solidified. Like he should go in the Eagles Hall of Fame. Like he is 100% an insanely good kicker, and we should be grateful to have him on this team because a lot of teams don't have a good kicker. So I just wanted to give him his flowers whenever he deserved it, and he definitely deserves it. My second player of the game is Nicholas Moreau with 3 sacks. Congratulations for coming off of the practice squad 2 weeks ago and coming into this game and having a massive game with 3 sacks. Coming in there for Nakobe Dean. I don't see any way that Nicholas Moreau gets put back on that practice squad even whenever Nakobe Dean comes back. So I just wanted to say congratulations to him for getting 3 sacks in this game. And also I want to shout out my other players of the game on the offensive side of the ball, which would be A.J. Brown, who had the massive game, 175 yards, and Jalen Hurts, who had 319 yards through the air and 2 passing touchdowns. There's not much more that I could ask from those two on the offensive side of the ball. They did their thing. And, like I say all the time, they got to bounce back and forth between who gets the ball each and every single week and who are the stars of the week. And this week and last week, it happened to be A.J. Brown. And, Devontae Smith was right behind him. Devontae Smith had 78 yards. So there's nothing more you can complain about. And with that being said, I'm going to go into tonight, and I'm going to watch some more on this game. I'm going to watch some replays. I'm going to watch the highlights. I'm going to watch the press conference. And then tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to come out with another video with a little bit more in-depth thought on what I also thought about this game. So be looking out for that one. And like I say at the end of every video, if you guys like when I'm posting, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. If you guys want to talk back and forth about Philadelphia Eagles or football in general, make sure you guys are leaving comments down in the comment section below. But besides that, hope you guys enjoy this week 4 victory over the Washington Commanders, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Peace.